Why do you know exactly what needs doing, but still avoid starting creating endless delay, despite understanding procrastination is sabotaging your progress? You know that moment when you have important task requiring completion, you've allocated time specifically for it. You understand its significance, but somehow you find yourself doing literally anything else. Checking messages, organizing desk, researching tangentially related topics, accomplishing nothing on actual priority while feeling increasingly guilty about avoidance you can't seem to overcome. When Musashi documented his life practices in Go Rin No Sho during his final 2 years, 1643-1645, he had 40 years of combat effectiveness to analyze, 60 duels without single defeat, proving his methods worked under maximum pressure where hesitation meant death. His anti-procrastination approach reveals counterintuitive principle. Procrastination isn't time management problem or motivation deficiency, it's decision architecture problem. Warriors couldn't afford procrastination because delayed action in combat produced instant fatal consequences, creating selection pressure that eliminated complex decision processes requiring motivation or willpower, replacing them with systematic protocols, making action automatic regardless of internal resistance or external circumstances. The system I'm breaking down in this video is extracted from Musashi's documented methods and samurai training protocols, specifically addressing procrastination through decision elimination rather than willpower cultivation. Not motivation techniques requiring psychological effort, or time management tactics, organizing tasks differently. Structural changes making procrastination impossible through removed decision opportunities and established action triggers. Understanding this framework earlier would have prevented decades attempting to overcome procrastination through increased discipline and better planning, when actual problem was decision architecture allowing avoidance to occur. I'm organizing this system into 3 components: action architecture eliminating procrastination conditions, friction management removing resistance sources, and commitment mechanisms preventing avoidance. This structure matters because attempting friction management without proper action architecture means reducing resistance while maintaining decision opportunities that allow procrastination, and attempting commitment without both means creating accountability for actions that remain difficult and uncertain. Let's start. Action architecture. Component 1. Trigger-based initiation protocols. First component is trigger-based initiation, establishing exact conditions, automatically launching action without decision requirement. Identify specific trigger event. Link action directly to trigger. Execute immediately when trigger occurs. Trigger-based initiation eliminates procrastination's primary mechanism, the decision about when to start. Most people operate on intention-based initiation. I'll work on project when I feel ready, or I'll start after I finish these quick tasks, or I'll begin once I clear this mental clutter. This creates continuous decision about whether now is optimal time, allowing endless rationalization, favoring delay, because you never feel perfectly ready and quick tasks multiply infinitely. Trigger-based protocol removes this decision by predetermined exact condition, launching action automatically. When trigger occurs, you execute immediately without evaluation or decision. Why specific external trigger rather than internal readiness becomes clear examining decision, elimination requirements and willpower conservation. Internal triggers like when I feel motivated or when I'm mentally clear are unreliable because you can always claim internal state isn't optimal yet justifying continued delay. External triggers like when clock shows 9 a.m. or immediately after completing morning coffee are objective and observable. Either trigger occurred or it didn't, eliminating subjective evaluation. Additionally, external triggers don't require willpower assessment. You don't decide whether you're ready. Trigger decides whether action launches, conserving willpower for execution rather than consuming it on initiation decision. Consider important project requiring sustained focus. Intention-based approach means planning to work when you feel focused, producing endless delay as you wait for perfect internal state that never arrives. After coffee, you'll be ready. After checking email, you'll be clear. After organizing desk, you'll be prepared. Hours pass without starting because each moment you evaluate readiness and find excuse for brief delay. Now consider trigger-based protocol. When morning coffee completes at 8:15 a.m., I immediately open project document and write first sentence regardless of how I feel. 8:15 arrives, coffee completes, you open document and write. No decision occurred, no evaluation happened, action launched automatically through predetermined trigger. Reality check. Moment. Examine your typical procrastination pattern honestly. When you procrastinate on important tasks, what decision are you making repeatedly that allows continued delay? Most people discover they're continuously deciding, not yet, I'll start after next thing, creating chain of small delays, accumulating into substantial procrastination. This decision pattern is completely unnecessary. Trigger-based protocol eliminates the decision entirely, making that pattern impossible. Implementation requires identifying your most procrastinated task and establishing trigger-based initiation protocol. First, identify exact trigger. Time-based works well, 9 a.m. daily. Completion-based also effective, immediately after morning routine completes. Location-based is powerful, when I sit at desk. Trigger must be external, objective, and occurring consistently. Then link action directly. When trigger occurs, I immediately first action of task without any intermediate steps or decisions. Write protocol explicitly. When clock shows 9 a.m., I immediately open project document and write first sentence. Position trigger obviously if possible. If trigger is sitting at desk, ensure task materials are positioned on desk, creating obvious connection. Track execution, noting whether action launches automatically at trigger or whether you're still making decisions about starting. If decisions persist, trigger isn't clear enough or linking isn't immediate enough, requiring protocol adjustment. Trigger-based initiation eliminates start decision, but even with automatic launch, unclear next actions create mid-task procrastination where you start but then stall. Second component solves this. Component 2, sequential action mapping. Second component is sequential action mapping, establishing exact sequence, eliminating all mid-task decisions about what to do next. Map complete action sequence before starting. Write specific order. Execute mechanically following map. Sequential mapping eliminates mid-task procrastination by removing continuous decisions about what to do next, creating flow where each action leads automatically to next without pause for decision-making. Most people start tasks without complete sequence planned, forcing continuous decisions. What should I do next? Should I research more or start writing? Should I handle this part or that part first? Creating decision fatigue and numerous pause points where procrastination reappears. You start tasks successfully, but then stall repeatedly, making minimal progress despite time investment because each decision point triggers avoidance, allowing distraction or task switching. Why complete pre-mapped sequence rather than flexible adaptive approach becomes clear, examining decision burden and flow state requirements. Flexible approach means making tactical decisions throughout execution, consuming willpower and cognitive resources that could support actual work. Each decision, however small, creates opportunity for procrastination because you can always decide to pause and handle something else first. Pre-mapped sequence eliminates these opportunities by predetermining every action, creating mechanical execution where you follow plan without thinking. Research on flow state confirms that clear sequential structure supports sustained engagement, while ambiguous next steps trigger disengagement and avoidance because clarity enables flow, while uncertainty triggers resistance. Consider writing project requiring research, outlining, drafting, editing. Flexible approach means starting with vague plan. I'll research first, then outline, then draft, but encountering continuous decisions. Is this enough research? Should I outline now or research more? Should I write introduction or jump to main content? Should I edit as I go or draft complete first? Each decision creates pause, triggering procrastination through distraction or task switching, producing scattered progress. Now consider same project with pre-map sequence. 1. Review 3 specific sources taking notes, 30 minutes. 2. Write 5-point outline from notes, 15 minutes. 3. Write first draft paragraph by paragraph, following outline without editing, 60 minutes. 4. Complete draft, then take break before editing. No decisions during execution. You mechanically follow sequence, producing continuous progress without pause points, allowing procrastination. Implementation requires establishing mapping ritual before starting any substantial task, creating complete execution sequence. Before trigger-based initiation protocol launches action, spend 5 to 10 minutes mapping complete sequence of specific actions required for completion. Write sequence explicitly using numbered list with specific action and approximate duration for each step. Be concrete, not vague. Review 3 specific sources, not do research. Write 5-point outline, not plan structure. Sequence should include everything from start to natural completion point, which might be end of work session, not project completion. Review sequence confirming you could execute mechanically without any additional decisions. During execution, follow sequence exactly without skipping or reordering unless truly impossible. Track whether mapped tasks complete with less stalling and distraction compared to unmapped tasks. Proving sequential structure prevents mid-task procrastination through eliminated decisions. Sequential mapping eliminates mid-task decisions. But even with clear sequence, lack of concrete progress markers creates uncertainty about whether you're actually advancing. Third component solves this. Component 3, completion criterion definition. Third component is completion criterion definition, establishing exact standard determining when action is finished, eliminating ambiguous done enough decisions, define specific completion requirement, make criterion observable and measurable, execute until criterion meets exactly. Completion criterion eliminates finishing procrastination by removing subjective evaluation about whether work is sufficient. Most people work without clear completion standard, allowing continuous uncertainty. Is this good enough? Should I do more? What if it needs improvement? Creating endless revision cycles or premature stopping, both driven by procrastination. Without clear criterion, you can always rationalize stopping before actual completion. This is probably fine. Or continuing indefinitely, avoiding moving to next task. This could be better. Clear criterion removes these decisions by establishing exact objective standard. Work continues until criterion meets, then stops immediately regardless of subjective feelings. Why objective measurable criterion rather than quality-based judgment becomes clear examining decision elimination and perfectionism prevention. Quality-based criteria like until it's good enough or when it meets standards require subjective evaluation, creating decision opportunity, allowing procrastination through either premature stopping or perfectionist continuation beyond useful point. Measurable criteria like 1,500 words written or 5 examples documented are objective, either met or not met without subjective evaluation. This eliminates procrastination mechanism while preventing perfectionism trap, where you continue refining past point of meaningful improvement because clear criterion forces stopping when objective standard meets. Consider preparing presentation for important meeting. Quality-based approach means working until presentation is good, producing uncertainty about whether current state is sufficient. This creates two procrastination forms: stopping prematurely because this is probably fine when actually incomplete, or continuing indefinitely improving slides that are already adequate because you never feel certain it's truly ready. Both are procrastination. First, avoiding completion effort. Second, avoiding moving to next priority. Now consider same presentation with completion criterion. 10 slides each, covering specific required topic with one supporting example per slide, and presenter notes for each. Objective standard. Either you have 10 slides meeting requirements or you don't. Work continues until criterion meets exactly, then stops immediately. No uncertainty, no endless revision, no premature stopping. Completion is objectively determined. Reality check moment. Examine your typical task completion pattern honestly. Do you work until objective criterion meets, or until you feel work is good enough or ready? Most people discover they use subjective feelings, producing uncertainty about whether tasks are actually complete, leading to either inadequate completion or excessive perfectionist refinement. This ambiguity is procrastination mechanism. Clear objective criteria eliminate it entirely. Implementation requires establishing completion criterion before starting any task as part of action architecture. When mapping sequential actions, final step should specify exact completion criterion. Task completes when specific measurable requirement meets. Requirements must be observable and countable. Number of words, number of items, specific elements included, defined scope covered. Avoid vague criteria like high quality or comprehensive coverage. These require subjective judgment, creating decision opportunities. During execution, check criterion, periodically noting progress towards standard. When criterion meets exactly, stop immediately regardless of whether you feel work could improve further. Trust predetermined criterion over in-moment subjective evaluation. Track whether tasks with clear criteria complete more reliably and with less excessive refinement compared to tasks with vague standards, proving criterion necessity for procrastination prevention. Completion criteria eliminate finish ambiguity. But even with perfect action architecture, high friction makes execution feel difficult, triggering avoidance despite removed decisions. Let's shift to friction management. Friction management. Component 4. Environment presaging. Fourth component is environment presaging positioning. Everything needed for action immediately accessible, eliminating all setup requirements. Stage materials before trigger time. Remove setup steps completely. Create zero barrier execution. Environment presaging eliminates friction-based procrastination by making action executable immediately without preparation or setup. Most people face substantial friction when trigger occurs. Materials need retrieval, space requires clearing, tools need setup. Creating resistance that triggers procrastination through rationalization, I'll just handle this other thing first while I prepare, which becomes extended delay. Presaged environment means trigger occurs and action begins immediately because everything is already positioned perfectly, requiring zero preparation, removing friction that produces procrastination. Why complete presaging rather than partial preparation becomes clear examining activation energy and resistance thresholds. Any remaining friction, even small like opening drawer to retrieve material, creates activation energy requiring willpower to overcome. If multiple small frictions exist, they accumulate, creating substantial resistance, triggering avoidance. However, zero friction means zero activation energy, making action literally easier than avoiding it, because avoiding requires actively choosing to not do thing that's immediately accessible, while execution requires only following trigger protocol. Complete presaging crosses threshold where execution becomes automatic because resistance was eliminated entirely through perfect preparation. Consider writing tasks requiring specific documents, focused environment, and particular tools. Unpresaged approach means trigger occurs, but you first need to clear desk, retrieve documents from filing system, find specific notes, close distracting applications, position materials appropriately. 5 minutes of preparation, creating resistance where you're likely to quickly check email first, which becomes 30-minute delay, destroying scheduled work session. Now consider presaged environment. Previous evening you cleared desk completely, positioned documents in obvious stack, opened required applications to relevant sections, closed all others, set up space perfectly. Trigger occurs at 9 a.m. and literally only action available is picking up first document and beginning, because everything else is already perfect, requiring zero setup. Friction was eliminated through presaging, making execution automatic. Implementation requires establishing presaging ritual as part of evening routine or immediately before trigger time if same-day preparation. For each trigger-based protocol, identify all materials, tools, space requirements, and environmental conditions needed for execution. Evening before or hour before if same day, systematically stage everything, clear work surface completely, position materials in exact order they'll be used, open relevant documents to current working section, close and remove all distracting applications and materials, verify tools and resources are accessible. Goal is creating environment where trigger occurs and literally only thing to do is execute first action. No retrieval, no setup, no decisions, no friction. Track whether presaged environments produce immediate execution at trigger versus unpresaged environments, producing delay for preparation, proving friction elimination necessity. Environment presaging eliminates setup friction. But even perfectly prepared, competing temptations present in environment capture attention, preventing focus. Fifth component solves this. Component 5, temptation quarantine. Fifth component is temptation quarantine, removing all attractive alternatives from work environment, eliminating distraction options. Identify competing temptations, physically remove from environment, maintain only task-relevant materials accessible. Temptation quarantine eliminates distraction-based procrastination by removing options competing for attention during work periods. Most people attempt resisting temptations through willpower while maintaining those temptations accessible. Phone sits nearby, entertainment tabs remain open, snacks are visible, creating continuous resistance battle, consuming willpower and producing inevitable failures when resistance depletes, allowing brief check, becoming extended distraction. Quarantine removes temptations entirely, making distraction impossible without deliberate retrieval, requiring leaving work environment, creating sufficient friction that impulsive distraction won't occur. Why physical removal rather than self-control becomes clear examining willpower dynamics and attention capture mechanisms. Self-control requires continuous active resistance. You must repeatedly resist urge to check phone, open entertainment tab, grab snack, depleting willpower progressively until capacity exhausts, causing control failure. Additionally, visible temptations automatically capture attention even when resisted successfully, requiring cognitive resources, returning focus to task rather than maintaining focus naturally. Physical removal eliminates both problems. No resistance required because temptation is unavailable. No attention capture occurs because temptation is invisible. Research confirms environmental design outperforms self-control dramatically because willpower is finite resource, while removed temptation requires zero willpower indefinitely. Consider focused work session requiring sustained attention. Self-control approach means phone remains on desk, requiring continuous resistance against checking impulse. Alternative tabs remain open, requiring repeated decision not to switch. Snacks are visible, requiring constant denial of eating urge. Each resistance consumes willpower, and each attention capture disrupts focus, producing degraded work quality and eventual control failure, allowing distraction. Now consider quarantined environment. Phone physically moved to different room, requiring standing and walking to access. Only task-relevant applications open with others blocked. Only water available, requiring trip to kitchen for snacks. During work session, zero resistance is required because temptations are inaccessible, and zero attention capture occurs because temptations are invisible, allowing complete focus naturally without willpower expenditure. Implementation requires systematic temptation identification and removal before work sessions begin. Identify your most common distraction sources, typically phone, certain websites or applications, food or drinks, entertainment options, even particular people if they interrupt frequently. Before trigger-based protocol launches action, systematically remove or block every identified temptation, phone to different room or given to someone else, distracting websites blocked using application, alternative applications closed and removed from quick access, snacks removed from work area, do not disturb sign posted if needed. Goal is work environment containing only task-relevant materials, with everything else requiring deliberate effort to access, creating friction, preventing impulsive distraction. Track focus quality and completion rates in quarantined versus non-quarantined environments, proving temptation removal dramatically improves execution through eliminated resistance and attention competition. Temptation quarantine eliminates distraction options. But even in perfect environment with removed temptations, lack of external accountability allows choosing to abandon protocol without consequences. Let's shift to commitment mechanisms. Commitment mechanisms. Component 6, Public Execution Declaration. Sixth component is Public Execution Declaration, announcing specific intention to person whose opinion matters, creating social accountability. Choose accountability partner. Declare exact action and timing. Report completion or failure honestly. Public declaration eliminates escape-based procrastination by making protocol abandonment socially visible, creating reputational cost. Private protocols allow unlimited rationalization. You can abandon trigger protocol telling yourself reasonable excuse without external challenge, because only you know commitment existed. Public declaration removes this option by making commitment visible to observer whose judgment you value, creating psychological pressure, maintaining follow-through, because failure requires explaining to someone else rather than merely accepting your own rationalization. Why specific person rather than general announcement becomes clear, examining accountability, effectiveness, and relationship dynamics. General public announcement like social media post creates diffuse accountability where no specific individual monitors follow through, allowing rationalization that no one really notices or cares, reducing commitment strength. Specific person creates concentrated accountability where you know exactly who will observe failure, creating real psychological pressure. Additionally, choosing someone whose opinion matters specifically to you activates relationship protection motivation. You don't want to disappoint person you respect, making commitment violation psychologically costly beyond merely failing personal goal. Consider trigger-based protocol for 9 a.m. daily project work. Private commitment means only you know. Protocol exists allowing rationalization when 9 a.m. arrives. Today is special exception because of unusual circumstances. Or, I'll do double tomorrow instead. And these excuses feel completely justified because no one challenges them. Now consider same protocol with public declaration to colleague you respect. I'm working on project every day at 9 a.m. for next 30 days without exception. When 9 a.m. arrives and you feel resistance, you remember colleague knows about commitment and will likely ask about progress. Abandonment requires explaining failure to someone whose judgment matters, creating psychological barrier, making execution more likely than private commitment, allowing silent abandonment without consequence. Implementation requires identifying appropriate accountability partner and making explicit commitment declaration. Choose person who respects you and whom you respect. Creating bidirectional relationship stakes has some relevance to your goal or commitment type. Increasing legitimacy will actually notice and inquire about progress rather than passively receiving announcement then forgetting. Contact person directly, not public post, explaining commitment and requesting accountability. I'm executing specific protocol, specific timing for specific duration. I'm asking you to hold me accountable. I'll report progress, specific frequency, and answer honestly if you ask about it. Make commitment concrete and falsifiable. Specific action and timing, not vague, trying to improve. Track whether public commitments maintain better than private commitments, proving social accountability necessity for protocol maintenance under pressure. Public declaration creates social pressure, but single declaration eventually loses psychological force as novelty fades. Final component maintains commitment through ongoing evidence. Component 7. Visible execution tracking. Seventh component is visible execution tracking, maintaining daily record of protocol completion, creating evidence chain you don't want to break. Use visual tracker prominently positioned. Mark each completion immediately. Maintain unbroken chain. Visible tracking eliminates momentum loss procrastination by creating psychological investment in completion streak, making abandonment feel costly. Private mental tracking allows forgetting or minimizing failures. You remember executing protocol most days without acknowledging gaps, permitting rationalization that occasional skip is acceptable. Visible tracking creates concrete, undeniable record, showing exactly how consistently you've executed, making gaps obvious and creating streak. You become psychologically invested in maintaining because breaking chain feels like destroying accumulated evidence of commitment. Why visible physical tracking rather than digital app becomes clear, examining salience and psychological investment. Digital tracking remains invisible until deliberately checked, allowing ignoring during moments of resistance. Physical tracker positioned prominently creates continuous visibility. You see it multiple times daily, reinforcing commitment and making failure obvious. Additionally, physical marking creates tangible action reinforcing completion. You physically mark X or check mark, creating small ceremony celebrating execution that digital click doesn't provide. Research on commitment and consistency confirms visible evidence of prior completion significantly increases future completion through activated consistency, motivation, and sunk cost psychology, making you reluctant to waste established streak. Consider protocol for 9 a.m. project work planned for 30 consecutive days. Mental tracking means believing you're executing consistently while actually skipping sporadically. You remember days you worked but forget days you skipped, creating false sense of success, permitting continued occasional abandonment. Now consider large wall calendar positioned prominently showing 30-day period. Each day at 9 a.m. you execute protocol, then immediately mark large X on calendar. After 10 consecutive marked days, you have visible streak creating psychological investment. Breaking chain tomorrow means destroying 10-day accomplishment, feeling wasteful and disappointing. This streak protection motivation increases completion likelihood substantially compared to invisible tracking, allowing painless abandonment because accumulated evidence doesn't exist visually. Reality check. Moment. Examine your typical commitment maintenance honestly. When you commit to practicing something consistently, do you maintain it successfully, or does it gradually fade after initial enthusiasm? Most people discover gradual abandonment occurs because they lack visible tracking, creating accountability and streak investment. Each skip feels isolated rather than chain-breaking, making abandonment psychologically acceptable. Visible tracking eliminates this by making every skip obviously destroy accumulated evidence. Implementation requires establishing visible tracking system before protocol begins making completion tracking automatic. Purchase large wall calendar or create custom tracker positioning it prominently where you'll see multiple times daily. Bathroom mirror, bedroom wall, workspace. Mark protocol, start date and target completion date, creating clear commitment period. Each day immediately after executing protocol, make large visible mark on tracker, X, checkmark, filled circle, creating tangible completion record. Do not mark day unless execution fully completed. Partial execution doesn't count because it allows standards erosion. Track system effectiveness by noting whether visible streak increases completion consistency compared to previous invisible or digital tracking, and note whether chain protection psychology activates, making you execute on difficult days specifically to maintain streak rather than caring about task itself. Complete system integration. Complete anti-procrastination system integrates all 7 components, creating comprehensive architecture, making procrastination structurally impossible. Action architecture establishes automatic initiation through trigger-based protocols, eliminating start decisions, creates seamless execution through sequential action mapping, removing mid-task decisions, and defines clear stopping points through completion criteria, eliminating finish ambiguity. Friction management prepares perfect execution environment through presaging, eliminating setup resistance, and removes competing temptations through quarantine, eliminating distraction options. Commitment mechanisms create external pressure through public declaration, activating social accountability, and maintain ongoing motivation through visible tracking, building streak investment. This integration produces systematic procrastination elimination not through increased willpower, but through removed procrastination opportunities. You can't procrastinate on starting because trigger automatically launches action without decision. You can't procrastinate mid-task because sequential map eliminates decision points. You can't procrastinate finishing because completion criterion is objective and clear. You can't procrastinate due to friction because environment is perfectly prepared. You can't procrastinate through distraction because temptations are physically removed. You can't rationalize abandoning protocol because public commitment creates accountability. You can't silently quit because visible tracking makes abandonment obvious and costly. 7 components systematically eliminate every common procrastination mechanism, creating automatic execution regardless of internal motivation state or external circumstances. After implementing complete system on single priority task, most people report procrastination disappears entirely. Not because they became more disciplined, but because system removed structural conditions allowing procrastination to occur. Execution becomes mechanical, automatic response to established protocols rather than willpower-consuming battle against resistance. This isn't temporary motivation-driven improvement. It's stable capability from systematic architecture making action automatic through removed procrastination opportunities, rather than requiring constant psychological effort, overcoming maintained resistance.